All right, I got to take some time to address this here.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
Did you hear about the latest shocking twist in the world of celebrity scandals? Picture this. On the very day Diddy got arrested, Marjorie Harvey decided it was the perfect moment to file for divorce from Steve Harvey. Coincidence? Some people think not. In fact, this whole situation is stirring up all kinds of wild rumors that tie Steve Harvey, the beloved TiVost and comedian, right into Diddy's downward spiral. But let's take a step back and look at how all this came crashing down.
Took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door.
First off, in case you've been living under a rock, Diddy, or as some still call him, Puff Daddy, has been arrested. And we're not talking about a minor offense. Here, the charges, let's just say they're serious. We're talking conspiracy, trafficking, and even more alarming accusations that have the entertainment world gasping. But Diddy's problems don't just stop with him. It's like a ripple effect. The bigger Diddy's fall gets, the more people he's dragging down with him. And one of those people just might be Steve Harvey. Yeah, you heard that right. Steve Harvey, the guy who's been all smiles and dad jokes on our screens, might be caught up in the same storm that's sinking Diddy.
You know, I think in federal court and for these charges, they would say it's routine, but in the public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in
Let's rewind a bit. For years, Diddy has been a titan in the entertainment world, building an empire from his music career, business ventures, and his flashy persona. But what we didn't see was the dark side behind all that glitz and glam. Diddy's legendary parties, rumored to be the hottest ticket in town, are now being exposed for what they really were: wild, scandalous events where anything and everything went down. And guess who's been rumored to attend some of these over-the-tubes wires? Yep, none other than Steve Harvey.
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact now Steve Harvey is known for his sharp suits, his motivational speeches, and being the ultimate family man. His entire brand is built around his image as a self-made man who pulled himself up from the streets of Cleveland to become one of the most beloved figures in Hollywood. So when rumors started flying that Steve had some kind of involvement in Diddy's notorious parties, fans were absolutely floored. Could it be true? Could Steve Harvey have been part of the same circle that's now crashing down with it?
Special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated, and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting them.
Let's just say where there's smoke, there's usually fire. People are now speculating that Steve wasn't just an innocent bystander. There are whispers that he knew way more than he let on. And with the kind of charges Diddy is facing, it's not hard to imagine that some pretty big names are involved. After all, Diddy's not the type to roll solo. He's been rubbing elbows with illustrious for decades. But why Steve? Why now? Well, it seems that Diddy's arrest has opened a Pandora's box of secrets, and Steve Harvey's name is slowly being dragged through the mud.
And I remember, like, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but like, I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside.
But the timing of Marjorie is what's really getting folks talking. Harvey's choice to initiate a divorce. It's almost too good that Diddy is placed under custody on that particular day. Marjorie appears to be anticipating a major event and taking steps to safeguard her assets. Given the numerous lawsuits and scandals that could arise, some argue that Marjorie's decision to separate from Steve is a classic move to protect her wealth. After all, Steve is reportedly worth hundreds of millions of dollars from his business ventures, TV shows, book deals, and other ventures. If the rumors about him being involved in Diddy's mess are true, you can bet that many lawyers will be vying for a piece of that fortune. Dad, this is the conclusion of the Diddy story as we know it. But now is where things become really fascinating. The connection between Mirror and Steve has always looked to imagine the picture-perfect couple, Perfect Right and Daisy, who blended their families and looked like they were straight out of a romance novel. Well, not so fast behind the scenes. There have been rumors of a divorce circulating long before Diddy's arrest even occurred. The public was simply unaware of how bad things really were. It appears that everything is coming to a head. There are rumors that Marjorie's sudden decision to file for divorce isn't just about ending her marriage, but also about protecting the Harvey empire. If Steve's relationship with Diddy is fully revealed and Marjorie's wealth is at risk of being tied up in the fallout, it makes perfect sense that she would want to leave while she still can, securing her share of the fortune before everything potentially blows up the evidence. But Mar, what you're not telling me about business. The indictment names the item seized that they believe he recorded videos of these performances for. This is where things get even murkier, though, as there are many conspiracy theories circulating that suggest this whole divorce may have been nothing more than a calculated move. The alleged evidence in this case was gathered from those 2 raids that were carried out on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. What if Marjorie and Steve had been preparing for this for months, knowing that Diddy's arrest was certain? By divorcing now, they might be attempting to dissociate their assets from any potential legal issues Steve may face. In other words, this whole thing could be a complex scheme to keep their money out of the hands of prying eyes. I saw it shared on every social media platform yesterday. Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy, claiming she was trapped in a decades-long cycle of abuse. But let's not forget that Marjorie isn't exactly new to scandal. Those who have followed her background know that she's had some dubious relationships prior to both of her first husbands being involved in major criminal enterprises. So it's difficult to believe that she's just an innocent victim here. In fact, some would argue that she's been preparing for a moment like this her entire life. Please stop ignoring the red flags in your relationship and believing you can change a man. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. At the center of all this drama is a relationship that once looked like the ultimate Hall-up Hollywood love story. Steve and Marjorie Harvey have been married for more than 10 years. From the outside, it appeared that they had it all: fame, fortune, and a blended family, all of which Steve frequently boasted about on his shows. Marjorie was by his side during some of his most memorable moments, and the 2 of them were an unstoppable power couple. So what went wrong? Was Diddy's arrest the final straw that brought their marriage to an end? Or had problems been brewing for some time before that? If you look a little closer, you'll notice that the cracks in their marriage have been there for a while. In recent months, Steve has shown signs of stress, and there have been whispers of tension between him and Margot regarding their finances. Some say that Steve's been throwing himself into his work more than ever, which is often a telltale sign that something's going wrong at home. Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention, so they go and they arrest them. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself in, whatever the case may be. Marjorie filing for divorce on the same day Diddy got arrested is no coincidence. It's almost as if she knew what was coming and decided to jump before it was too late. And can you really blame her with Diddy's name being dragged through the mud and Steve's name now potentially